Princess Ibis and the White Swan. Princess Ibis of the Silverwood Kingdom was known for two things: her fiery red hair that cascaded down her back like a molten sunset, and her rebellious spirit, as untamed as the wind that rustled through the ancient whispering pines bordering the realm. She detested the structured life of court, the endless balls, and the parade of suitors all vying for her hand and the keys to Silverwood. Ibis craved adventure, whispered tales of faraway lands and mythical creatures, things her mother, the queen, dismissed as frivolous fantasies. One day, escaping yet another tedious etiquette lesson, Ibis found herself wandering deep into the whispering woods. The air hummed with an ancient energy, and dappled sunlight filtered through the canopy, painting shifting patterns on the forest floor. She'd heard tales of a hidden lake, a place untouched by time, said to be home to creatures of magic. Driven by her adventurous spirit, she pressed on, the rustling leaves her only companion. Finally, she reached it. Lake Lumina shimmered beneath the sky, its surface mirror smooth, reflecting the surrounding trees with breathtaking clarity. Then she saw it. A swan, impossibly white, glided serenely across the tranquil water. Its plumage was like spun moonlight, its eyes twin pools of molten gold. Ibis was mesmerized. This was no ordinary bird. An aura of magic radiated from it, palpable and undeniable. As Ibis drew closer to the shore, the swan swam towards her, its elegant neck arched gracefully. It stopped just a few feet away, its golden eyes fixed on her. Hesitantly, Ibis reached out a hand. The swan didn't flinch. Instead, it nudged her palm with its soft beak. A jolt, a spark of connection, surged through Ibis. She knew, with a certainty that resonated deep within her soul, that this swan was special. From that day forward, Ibis visited Lake Lumina every chance she got. She named the swan Lumi, and they forged a bond that transcended words. Ibis told Lumi her secrets, her dreams, her frustrations with court life. Lumi listened patiently, its presence a comforting balm to her restless spirit. One day, as Ibis confided her desire to see the world beyond Silverwood, Lumi surprised her. With a ripple of its wings, the swan began to glow, the light intensifying until it became blinding. When the light subsided, Lumi stood before Ibis, no longer a swan, but a young woman with hair as white as snow and eyes the color of pure gold. "My name is Lyra," the woman said, her voice like the chime of distant bells. "I am bound to this lake, cursed to live as a swan until a heart both pure and brave could see beyond the curse and offer true friendship." Ibis was stunned, but not afraid. She'd always known Lumi held a secret. "What curse?" she asked breathlessly. Lyra explained that she was a princess from a neighboring kingdom, Ethoria, known for its silver mines and its powerful mages. Her envious cousin, Malcor, coveting the throne, had used dark magic to transform her into a swan, hoping to eliminate her claim to the crown. "He believed I would be trapped forever, forgotten in this remote lake," Lyra said, her voice tinged with sorrow. "But you, Ibis, have broken the curse. You have given me hope again." Ibis felt a surge of anger at Malcor's cruelty. She knew what it was like to be trapped, albeit in a different way. "We'll help you reclaim your throne, Lyra. We'll expose Malcor's treachery." And so began their adventure. They understood that simply marching on Ethoria would be foolish. Malcor would be expecting them, and his magic was formidable. They needed allies, information, and a strategy. Their first stop was the hidden city of the Silvani, deep within the heart of the Whispering Woods. The Silvani were an ancient race of forest dwellers, wise and secretive, known for their knowledge of ancient magic and forgotten paths. Ibis had heard stories of them from her grandmother, a woman who held a deep respect for the old ways. Finding the Silvani was not easy. The paths to their city shifted and changed, designed to deter unwanted visitors. But Ibis, guided by Lyra's innate connection to the forest, navigated the labyrinthine trails. Finally, they stood before the towering trees that formed the entrance to the hidden city. The Silvani were wary at first, their eyes, like polished emeralds, scrutinizing the two princesses. But when Ibis explained Lyra's plight and her own desire to help, their leader, a wizened elder named Elara, softened. "Malcor's darkness has touched our forest as well," Elara said, her voice raspy with age. "We have felt the corruption spreading. We will help you." The Silvani provided them with invaluable information about Malcor's weaknesses and the layout of Athoria's Silver Citadel. They also gifted Ibis with a cloak of shadows, woven from moonlight and shadow, allowing her to move unseen through the palace. Their next stop was the desert kingdom of Asmar, a land of scorching sands and shimmering mirages. Asmar was known for its skilled warriors and its legendary fire dancers, masters of illusion and deception. Ibis hoped to enlist their aid in diverting Malcor's forces. The journey to Asmar was perilous, fraught with sandstorms and treacherous terrain. Lyra, weakened from her years as a swan, struggled with the harsh conditions. Ibis, ever resourceful, used her knowledge of herbs and survival skills, learned during her secret escapades in the Silverwood, to keep them safe. In the bustling city of Asmar, they sought an audience with the Sultan, a wise and just ruler known for his compassion. Ibis, using her royal title and her genuine plea for justice, convinced him to lend them his support. The Sultan agreed to send a contingent of fire dancers to create a diversion near the Athoria border, drawing Malcor's attention away from the Silver Citadel. With the Silvani and Asmar as allies, Ibis and Lyra finally felt ready to confront Malcor. They returned to Athoria, their hearts filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Using the Cloak of Shadows, Ibis infiltrated the Silver Citadel, navigating the labyrinthine corridors with the stealth of a seasoned spy. Lyra, disguised as a common servant, worked to gather information from within the palace walls. They discovered that Malcor was planning a grand coronation, believing he had solidified his claim to the throne. The coronation was to be held in the Grand Hall, the heart of the Silver Citadel, and it presented the perfect opportunity to expose his treachery. On the day of the coronation, Ibis and Lyra put their plan into action. As Malcor stood before the assembled court, about to place the crown upon his head, Ibis, hidden by the Cloak of Shadows, used a magical artifact given to her by the Silvani to project an illusion. Suddenly, the Grand Hall was filled with images of Malcor casting the curse on Lyra, his face twisted with malice and ambition. The court gasped in horror, their eyes wide with disbelief. The illusion ripped away his carefully constructed facade, revealing the truth of his wicked deed. Chaos erupted in the hall. Malcor, enraged and terrified, unleashed a torrent of dark magic, lashing out blindly at the illusory figures. The fire dancers, having successfully drawn away a portion of the Athoria guard, launched their own attack, creating further confusion and disarray. In the midst of the chaos, Ibis shed the cloak of shadows and stepped forward, her red hair blazing like a beacon in the dim light. "Malcor is a traitor," she cried out, her voice ringing with authority. "He stole the throne from its rightful heir." Lyra, throwing off her disguise, stood beside Ibis, her golden eyes shining with determination. "I am Princess Lyra of Ethoria," she declared, her voice strong and clear, "and I demand justice." The court, stunned by the revelation, looked from Malcor to Lyra, their loyalty divided. But the evidence was undeniable. Malcor's treachery had been exposed. Malcor, realizing his reign was over, lunged at Lyra, his hand outstretched, crackling with dark energy. Ibis, reacting instinctively, stepped in front of Lyra, taking the brunt of the magical blast. The force of the impact threw her back, and she collapsed to the floor, pain searing through her body. But even as she lay there, she saw Lyra, empowered by the love of her people and the support of her friends, confront Malcor. Lyra, using the knowledge of magic passed down through generations of Ethoria royalty, deflected Malcor's attacks and turned his own power against him. In a final, climactic battle, she defeated him, stripping him of his magic and exposing his crimes to the entire kingdom. With Malcor vanquished, Lyra was crowned the rightful queen of Ethoria. Her first act was to pardon those who had been misled by Malcor's lies, and to forge a new era of peace and prosperity for her kingdom. Ibis, though wounded, recovered quickly. She returned to Silverwood a hero, her name whispered with admiration throughout the land. She had proven that even a rebellious princess could make a difference, that courage and compassion were more powerful than any crown or title. But Ibis knew that her adventures were far from over. Lyra's reign had brought peace to Ethoria, but there were other injustices in the world, other kingdoms in need of help. With Lyra's blessing and the support of her own kingdom, Ibis embarked on a new journey, a journey to explore new lands, fight for the oppressed, and continue to make the world a better place, one adventure at a time. And always by her side, or soaring overhead, was the unwavering spirit of the White Swan, a reminder that even the most unlikely of friendships could change the world. Their legend was just beginning. The princess and the swan, destined to be told for generations to come.